As we get started in the home buying process, there's a few things we need to figure out before we get started. One is, what are the minimums you need? Start off, make yourself a list. You need how many bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, fenced yard, whatever those may be, the ones that you just can't live without. Number two is what geographic area you want to live in. Are you looking to be 5 minutes from work, or are you willing to commute 45 minutes? You want to live on South Whidbey, North Whidbey, Anacortes, which of those areas you want to live in. And then number three is budget. You know what your budget is, and you know how much you can afford. However, unless you're paying cash for your home, it ultimately comes down to what the monthly payment is that the mortgage lender is going to qualify you for. So that's where it's really important to get pre-approved with a mortgage lender. I'm Reid Schwartz with the Craig McKenzie team, and today I'm going to talk with my friend Jahleel Vester about getting pre-approved for a home loan. And stick around to the end. We got a special tip to make that whole loan application process go even smoother. Hey, I'm Reid Schwartz with the Craig McKenzie team at Keller Williams. I sell real estate, and I am your real estate resource, I hope, for all things real estate. And today, I have invited Jahleel Vester with Summit Funding to join me. And Jahleel, say hi to everybody.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Reid. Thank you for having me, sir.
Yeah. So, Jahleel, the real estate market is just going crazy. It's really a seller's market. We're just seeing houses are just moving so quickly. And one of the big things I run into is people call me up and they're like, hey, I want to go look at this house. I saw it on Zillow. And my first question for them is, are you paying cash or are you financing this? And not all of them are paying cash. I find that shocking. And when they're financing it, then my next question is, are you pre-approved for a mortgage? And that's where you come in, Jahleel. I mean, so when people come to you, what's your first thing you talk to them about? What are you looking for from them in order to get them pre-approved?
Well, when people come to me, Reid, the first thing is I tell them, thank you. Thank you for believing in yourself, and thank you for deciding to be prepared, because it's a hot market. Like you said, I mean, oftentimes by the time people go to look at the house that they just saw on Zillow, it's gone. It is absolutely gone. Actually, quick question. Could you pull up some stats, Reid, on just days on market, just before I even dig into what the pre-approval and how to get started and all that process? I mean, just
Absolutely.
so that the people can see, like.
Yeah, let's see here.
It is a hot market.
We go to. There you go, Jahleel. So this is the statistics. I'm logged into the MLS directly. And I pulled up everything that's sold in the last 14 days in Oak Harbor. So this is from Penn Cove to the bridge, just the ones that closed escrow. And we have this column right here. You'll see where my mouse is CDOM, is cumulative days on market. That's how many days from the time it was listed for sale until it closed or it went under contract. And you can see we had one that sold on 0 days. That's the day they listed it. We have two of them that went under contract. So if you were looking to do it, you were too late. The next day it was on the market. And then these next five sold on day 2. And then next few down there, we got another about 8, looks like, on day 3. And then day 4, we got a few on day 5. And then we got a few that took a little bit longer to sell. This one's 3 weeks. This one's getting close to a month, 2 months, 3 months. And then this property on Aviator Lane looks like it was on the market for about a year and a half. So that's That's what we're seeing. So that leaves us in a position where when somebody's looking to buy a house, they need to be ready to make a move really quickly, or they're not going to have a chance.
Absolutely.
And that's where you come in and getting them pre-approved. And actually, some people come in and they go, about pre-qualified versus pre-approved. Could you explain what the difference between those two terms is?
Oh, 100%. 100%. And before I even go into pre-qualified versus pre-approved, if you rewind the video and take a look at the stats that Reid put on the screen there, you're going to notice that a lot of the bedrooms that were just listed quickly were 3, 2, 4, 3, 2. I mean, all some of the same types of property. So if you are looking for that 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, or 4-bedroom, whatever bathroom, 2.5 bathroom, and you're serious about getting into that house, notice that how fast those were going off the market. I just wanted to point that out. I thought that was really interesting. So pre-qualified versus pre-approved. What are the differences? Well, a pre-qualification essentially is about as solid as Jell-O. I think that's simply put there. And a pre-approval is about as solid as a brick. So what makes the two different? Well, if you're, say, online and you go to some website with a mortgage company and they say, oh, we'll get you pre-qualified, you'll type in a few things, they'll run your credit, and then they'll give you a letter immediately. You didn't give them any bank statements, you didn't give them any pay stubs, no documentation to verify your income status or your asset information. They'll just use an algorithm and say you are pre-qualified. All right, so maybe that's quick, right? Maybe you're thinking, oh, okay, well, the market's hot, I should get something quickly and then get out there and place an offer. Well, here's the difference between and where the real difference holds some weight. Once you've placed an offer on a property, you're eventually going to have to get, in actuality, pre-approved. Once you're in the game, and that bank that just said, hey, here's a letter, go, good luck, right? Once you have an offer, you're moving on that property, they're going to ask you for all the things they should have asked you for to begin with. Your bank statements, your pay stubs, your tax returns. And if it turns out that after they qualify your income, that you don't qualify for that house, you're going to be a very upset person. You know what I'm saying? Reid, do you have any stories or anything with someone that got a pre-qualification letter that just didn't carry the weight that they thought?
Well, I work with both buyers and sellers. And so when I'm working with sellers, when we get offers, and I'll tell you, on most listings now, we're seeing multiple offers within a couple of days that the house is on the market, up to 7, 10, 15 offers, which is just ridiculous. And it's a really tough situation for both buyers and sellers. Buyers are frustrated because they're not getting the house, because if you have 7 offers, 6 people didn't get the house. And sellers are frustrated because they feel bad that 6 people walked away and were unable to buy their house. But when we're evaluating offers from a seller's perspective, and we get the different offers, and they're all over the board, but a pre-qualified letter doesn't carry a lot of weight, because just what you explained, they have not actually given the bank their paycheck stubs and their tax records and their bank statements. And so I know that. And so when I'm explaining that to the seller's taking that into account, because the seller's goal is to get to escrow, the close of escrow, to get a check for their house so they can move on to their next house and the rest of their lives. Not to go through and accept an offer that there's a much better chance that it's not going to make it all the way because the financing might not go through. So, from a seller's perspective, sorry, Jahleel, but the number one best offer is the person that shows up with all cash, because there's just much less chance that something's going to go wrong with that deal. Right. And then the next best offer is somebody that's coming in with a big down payment. I mean, I had one recently. They were coming in with $250,000 down payment. So the odds that if something goes awry, the appraisal comes in low or something, that those people are going to be able to make the transaction go through are much better. So at the very, very bottom of that list is somebody with a pre-qualification letter, because it just doesn't carry as much weight.
Right. And it totally makes sense. And if that description wasn't clear enough, let me just clarify it for you. A pre-qualification is where you've put in minimal information and you've ran your credit, and then you're given a letter of approval. A pre-qualification, or excuse me, a pre-approval is when you've given substantial information, substantial documentation, so that you can get a loan approval. One of them, all you need is a credit check. The other one, you're giving, tons of documentation to the bank. It's going to feel like you're pulling your hair out. I mean, we ask for everything but your firstborn child. That's the joke there. But in reality, the pre-approval is the most solid. It's the most secure. It's going to make you feel safe when you're out there shopping for your house.
Thanks, Jahleel. So one of the other big factors that comes in when I'm working with sellers on getting them what the best offer is, and when I'm working with buyers and I'm trying to get them the deal, is we run into this being able to close in a timely manner. My experience, I would guess 2 out of 3 houses that are on the market are sitting vacant. The sellers have already bought a new place, they've already moved, and so they want to close escrow as soon as possible. So when we're making offers, the shorter we can make that close escrow, the better the offer is. Once again, we're trying to make the strongest offer in a multiple offer situation. So having that short time frame, and it's been my experience, some lenders cannot close in less than 45, 60 days. What's the situation with Summit Funding?
Well, Reid, situation with Summit Funding on the typical loan, or I'll say typical for the loans that I typically do, which would be the VA, the conventional, and then I'll also do FHA and USDA loans as well. Every loan product has its own closing time frame, meaning that when I'm looking at a conventional loan here at Summit Funding, we can knock those out in 30 days time. VA loan, 30 days time. FHA loan, 30 days time. Now, there are a few different programs that require some more time. That would be something like the USDA loan that has a double underwrite, and we can do a video on USDA and get further into the weeds there. But essentially, what you have to remember is that for a USDA loan, you're typically around 45-day close, as well as an FHA down payment assistance loan. That's typically around a 45-day close as well. But it's actually quite shocking, and that's, I think, another benefit to working with a local lender, someone that can look you in the eye, help you out, someone that can be accessible to you. And because we are local, we are right here. We're what is it? Big enough to be dangerous, but small enough to be able to look you in the eye. And it really does help us get those things closed on time and within about a 30-day time frame on average.
Well, that's great. That's great. That's one of the things that I also encourage my clients to work with a local lender. And I've had clients who've worked with a national lender, and they're very set in their ways, and that's what they want to do, and that's everybody's right. But my experience is that after they've lost a couple deals, they typically look for better options, because they can't necessarily come up with be the top dollar offer. And there's many things that go into being a winning offer, and it's not always the top dollar. It's there's a lot of factors, in having the right loan that can close in the right time frame is a big one. Yeah. Yeah.
And can I give you an example on that, Reid?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I recently had a deal where we were able to win. So what happened was that the typical starter process, clients get pre-approved, they're shopping with their realtor, make an offer on the house, and then something I like to do, because I am local, is I will call the listing agent. I'll call the listing agent, and so that's what I did. I called the listing agent. Hello, ma'am. I just want to tell you about my buyers. They're fully pre-approved. I've documented all of their documents. So I have all their stuff, their bank statements, their pay stub. I calculated their income, great credit score, just totally bragged about them without disclosing any of the buyer's information, of course, and let them know, hey, we have some solid people here. And then I started to ask, what is it that your sellers are looking for? It just so happened that the sellers wanted to be able to sign their documents at escrow early so that they could check out and go to Texas. So we had about 7 other competing offers. And because I was able to confirm with the listing agent that my team could get all the documents to escrow about a week early so that the seller can sign and check out to Texas, we were able to win that deal. And there was somebody that offered more money, but because we could get the documents to escrow and I could find that out after calling the listing agent, we were able to win it. My family and my buyers were able to get that house, and we're going to be closing at the end of this month. So very excited about that.
And that's great, because that's really important, because like I said, there's a lot of other factors. It's not always just people, a lot of buyers' thought process is that, if somebody has an offer that's higher than mine, I'm going to lose out. And that's not always the case. That's we're having a real estate agent and a lender that work together as a team and have good communication skills. I'll be brutally honest. When I list properties, I'm amazed sometimes that real estate agents send me offers, never call me, never communicate with me, never check to see how many offers I have. Not to mention sometimes they're just not done correctly. But yeah, the communication is huge. Your willingness to be able to reach out to the listing agent is fantastic. Yeah. So before we wrap this up, one more thing was, when I get people that I need, often short time frame. Hey, they want to get qualified. There's a house on the market. We saw how quickly they're selling, and I send them to you. What do you need from them? Because I would like people out there that are thinking about this to start gathering those documents and getting them prepared so that they can go, because you need certain documents, and if they don't have them handy, that's a big holdup.
Yes, sir. So I'll give you the list of documents, and then I'll give you a tactic on what would make it easiest for you guys to get those documents to the bank in a fashion that they can actually work on your paperwork. So what we're typically looking for, what the average loan officer and bank is going to be looking for, is your last 2 years tax returns, your last 2 years W-2s, your last 30 days pay stubs, and your last 2 months bank statements, as well as a copy of your driver's license. So the driver's license, that shows your identification, and then of course pay stubs, W-2s, tax returns, and then bank statements, all things that are important to the bank in order to qualify you for your home loan. And of course, you'll complete an application. Typically, we could send you a link where you can do the application online, or if you need more hand-holding with that, we can walk you through it over the phone, or you can come into the office and do that. So the faster that someone can get that done, the faster that we as the bank can work on that. And a good tactic, I told you I'd give you a tactic on how to upload those things. If you collect all those things, put it in maybe one file, or you print it all off and then scan it all into one PDF document, and we're able to send that to your lender. Oh my God, you would be client of the year, quite literally. I mean, I love it. I've only had a few different clients that were able to even if you're just able to get all of your documents into one file, you could just hold it in a Google Drive folder or something like that. And then PDFs, please, Lord, PDFs. That is what we love. If you get us all PDF files of all of your documentation, upload it all at one time. It's easy for you. It's easy for us. And the easier it is for us, the faster you're going to be able to get pre-approved.
That's great. And I think we talked about it before, and I don't have time to do it right now, but there's if you don't have a scanner, and a lot of people don't have a scanner at home, number one, your real estate agent should be more than happy to scan those documents for you. And if they aren't, then you find a new real estate agent. But the other thing is that, our phones, these things, there's apps for scanning documents. I use one called Genius Scan. If you have an iPhone, the Notes app, now app that's built into the phone from the Apple, has the function to take pictures and turn those into PDF files. Because as Jahleel mentioned, the underwriters aren't big fans of JPEGs, and there is a difference in the document formats. So,
yes, there is.
All right. Anything else you got, Jahleel, before we wrap this up?
Yes, sir. Well, Reid, thank you for the opportunity, man. And mostly people, when they're looking to get started, if you're able to get the documents, your loan officer is going to be able to help you make that decision on what loan program is going to be the best for you. There are pretty much a big four, and we're talking conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA. So those are the big four loan programs. There are more, but these are the typical ones that serve the average family here in the United States. And thank you, Reid, for putting up my visual here. This gives you pretty much a broad overview. So if you're going conventional, you're probably talking over a 640 credit score. All of the other programs will allot for a 620 with qualifying overlays. But if you're over 640, it's going to be the best for you. And then again, the higher your credit score, the better your financing picture is going to be. But it's really the job of your loan officer to help you determine the best loan program for you after you've uploaded all the documentation. And the faster you can do that, the more prepared you'll be. The more prepared you are in this market, the better your chances of getting and landing the home of your dreams.
So, Jahleel, we're going to have another conversation down the road about more detail on these, and at that point you can explain what an overlay is, because I assure you most people have no idea. But my one last question, what is a reasonable time frame from the time I send someone to you till you can get a pre-approval letter in our hands on the assumption that somebody has all those documents? Because without those, I know you can't do it. But
oh, yes, sir. If someone were to get me all the documentation that I needed, we could have pre-approval turned around within about a 2 business day time frame.
Okay. So as you can see from the numbers we were looking at earlier, how fast houses are selling, if you call up the day that the house went on the market, the odds are that by the time we get your pre-approval, because you haven't done that, half of all those houses would have been sold already. And even if they aren't sold, but if they've already got 3 or 5 or 7 offers, you're behind the 8 ball. So getting pre-qualified or pre-approved is very important. Thank you, Jahleel. I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me about this, and we'll do this again.
All right, sounds good. Take care, you guys. Thank you, Reid.
And now for that special bonus I promised, a little tip to get your documents put together. If you're an Apple user, you can use the Apple Notes app. And when you go into there, you can choose to, when you go take a picture, it gives you the option to scan a document. So you go ahead and get all your documents together, open up the Apple Notes app, go ahead and scan the documents, take a picture of it. It gives you a chance to outline the spots. Mine, it seems to do a really good job automatically. And you just go through and do each of your documents, your tax returns, your W-2s, your bank statements, until you have them all put together. And then you go ahead and save those to a file on your on your phone. I saved them to iCloud. That way they're accessible from my Mac or from my phone, and I can email them or I can upload them to the lender's website. And then everybody has all your documents in one place in a PDF, just what they're looking for. And if by chance you're an Android user, there's a bunch of apps for Android. I'm not sure whether one of the built-in apps in the operating system will do a PDF, but there's a bunch of apps, free ones, paid ones. So that's the great tip. That way it makes it just so much simpler for everybody.